You know who your business serves, but how do you actually get to know them? In today's video, we're talking about how to get to know your target audience. My name is Marley Jax. I am the CEO of Jax Productions. Over the last few years, I have scaled my business to multiple seven figures, and one of the key ways to do that is by knowing who your audience is and how you can serve them. I'll be the first to say that I hated target audience demographic questionnaires with the typical questions like, what keeps your audience up at night, and where do they go for dinner, and what magazines do they read? So I'm going to share with you today one of the ways that I've gotten closer and really understood my target audience without going through those cookie cutter questionnaires. So your target audience is the group of people that you want to reach with your message, the people that could potentially be a pool of customers for you. And before you create any of your offers or any of your content to be able to reach that target audience, you have to understand your ideal customer's demographic, their false beliefs, their hopes, their dreams, their morning routine. And one of my favorite ways to look at this is often for us as entrepreneurs, we are speaking to a previous version of ourselves. Have you ever thought about that? That potentially what you've created, your business, your products and services, you've created because it's a struggle that you have overcome yourself. So yes, I'm going to share with you some of the ways to actually speak to your audience to discover these things. But the other turning point, the other game changer for me was by realizing that 3 years ago, was my perfect client. I was exactly who I speak to today. When I was going through my own business struggles, I was in a 9-to-5, I was trying to get my business off the ground. I wanted to be able to be a full-time entrepreneur. I wanted to be able to serve hundreds, thousands of clients, make 6 figures, make 7 figures, make 8 figures. I wanted to know what are the skills and strategies and abilities that I need to do that. And over the few years that I've been growing my business and reached multiple 7 figures, I've discovered what's worked for me that I can share with other entrepreneurs on that same path. So after hearing that, I'd love to hear from you. Does that make sense for you too? Are you 3 years ago a version of the clients that you speak to today? If so, I'd love to hear your story. Tell me in the comments below. One of my favorite ways to get to know my audience is by simply being around them. I have a Facebook group where we create conversations, I hear their answers, and I'm asking them questions or just creating content that's getting them to respond in a way that I get to know them. I get to hear the language that they're speaking. And the best thing that you can do when you get that information is to really digest it and use that language back to them. There was a time in my business where I was really struggling to land new clients. I would get on a lot of sales calls with people that were interested in what I had to offer, but I couldn't get to that actual closing of the sale. But by being on those calls with those potential clients, instead of being disheartened or feeling defeated, I would listen to their objections. Why were they saying that what I had to offer wasn't a good fit for them? Was it money? Was it an insecurity? Was it something that they believed it wouldn't work for them? By hearing those false beliefs, I was able to understand the language that they were speaking and be able to create new stories around it or adjust my offers to suit what they were saying that they needed. You know, there might be things that you're producing or you're selling that you think is incredible. Of course you created, of course it's incredible, but you need to cater it to your audience's desires. I've had a service in my business for several years where I work with my clients to produce their YouTube channels and help their businesses scale to 6, 7, even some clients at 8 figures. Now, several years ago, I used to advertise that as, let me help you create your content. But as I got on calls with people and was discovering what my audience needed, I discovered that their main desire was cash flow. They're like, I gotta work super hard to make this money. I can't create content right now, not knowing that what I was doing with their content would directly lead into cash flow. What I was giving them would still give them the desired result, but I needed to change my messaging to speak my audience's language for what they really wanted. So get in those Facebook groups with people that may be your potential audience, create content, ask them questions, get those answers, get in conversations with them. You know, even getting on sales calls where whether you close that sale or not, that's an opportunity for you to get to know your audience, what they want and need, and could even give you ideas for future products and services to create based on what you learn from your potential customer. One of the other ways that I love to gather this data from my audience is by creating polls. Now, if I'm gonna create a poll or a survey, I want to incentivize my audience and thank them, give them some sort of a benefit for them giving me their time and their information. You could just post a survey or a link to say, hey, would you mind answering these questions? Help me help you. And if they're a really warm audience member, if they love what you do, they feel really loyal to you, maybe they'll do that. But for some people, they might just be thinking, well, I don't have time, that's not my priority, I don't need to do that right now. So what I'll do is I'll actually give them some sort of an incentive. I had my event Content Machine Live last year, and I wanted to get feedback on what did you think about the event? Did you love the speakers? Is there anything you would like us to change for the next event? Just give us your feedback. What was awesome? Maybe what wasn't. But instead of just saying, hey, here's a survey, will you fill it out? I said, for anyone that fills out this survey, I'm also going to give you free access to my upcoming challenge. That way, we actually had tons of responses because they were incentivized. They were happy to give me their feedback, and it was so worth it for me to be able to give them that access for free because the value and the information I got was invaluable for my next moves in my business. Every few months, I make this very specific post in my Facebook group that the answers that I receive are overwhelming and incredible responses that show me some of the next steps that I can make in my business to create some really profitable ideas. Before I tell you what that post is, I want to remind you to subscribe to this channel because I'm putting out videos like this every single week to help you scale your business. So what's that post? It is magic. I do this every few months. The way that I word it, instead of just asking them a question or asking if I can pick their brain, that's another thing. I hate when people say, can I pick your brain? No, my brain is expensive and your time is valuable. I want to make sure that I'm actually valuing their time and information if they're willing to give it. So once in a while, I'll make this post in my Facebook group and I'll say something like, if you were sitting across from me having coffee, what questions would you love to ask me? Or if I could wave a magic wand over your business and solve one frustration for you, what would that be? The answers that come in are incredible and they give me so many ideas for future YouTube videos, for new content ideas, or for things that I can add into my courses or my coaching programs or my services. Those are some of my favorite ways to be able to get that information from your audience so you can really get to know your customer avatar. But what if you have a small audience? What if you're starting from scratch? Or what if you just need more information? Well, I have some other tools for you too. It involves researching two things. The first one is your competitor. Identify the competitors that you have in your market and look at what they're doing well. Maybe look at what they're not doing as well and look at what their audience is going to them for. You might even look at the comment section of their videos or of their posts to see what their audience is saying, because if you have a similar business, their potential audience could be your potential audience. And I'm not saying to try to poach any clients or anything, but this is still going to give you the data and the information and the research to speak the same language to your potential clients. And the second type of research that you can be doing is to do SEO and keyword research. People are on search engines all the time. They're on that Google machine. They're searching for things on YouTube, like you here today. Hello, so glad you're here. What are the things that they are searching for? What's your potential audience looking for answers to? You can use tools like SEMrush, Google Keyword Planner, TubeBuddy to see what are the problems that they're facing that they're trying to find answers for on Google. If you can use those same words and phrases in your content and be able to speak their language back to them, they'll feel like you really understand them. These are some of the strategies that I've used for myself and for my clients to scale me to multiple 7 figures and some of my clients to even 8 figures in revenue. What I do with my clients is I build them a content machine and a cash flow system that brings them an infinite cash flow loop. And I've actually created a free blueprint for you that you can get access to when you click the link below. Get access to my free infinite cash flow blueprint.